I used to. My mother used to own a costume shop, and every year we were just like, and here comes the rain.
Yep.
So the big news this week. Where's Windows 9?
Yeah, right. Yesterday, Microsoft. Oh, they actually kind of surprised us, right? They had their press conference in California, and they first joked Windows 1. And so at first I was like, okay, so it's called Windows 1, and they were like, no, just kidding, it's Windows 10. So they just completely skipped Windows 9. They went from Windows 8.1 and went to Windows 10.
Not a clue why.
Yeah, it's kind of confusing, and like, I don't know. I guess the naming, it sounds like almost like Windows 10 would have been something they announced in like 2010. I don't know, because that's what Microsoft has done. But so what the whole focus of it though is to bring back what people liked in Windows 7. So you have the start menu and stuff like that, and sort of merge it with what Microsoft's been trying to do with Touch and the modern UI in Windows 8 and Windows 8.1. And I guess in their thinking, they thought, okay, well then we're going to make this Windows 10. It's that big of an update.
I guess I don't know. It's very weird, but yeah, I'm glad the start menu's back. I know Microsoft will never come out and go, okay, maybe we shouldn't have taken the start menu away.
Right.
But at least it's back. And, the whole thing is there's something to be said for familiarity.
Mm-hmm.
Your average Joe computer user doesn't take to change well.
Right. I think that's why modern UI was so shocking for everybody. We're just like it looks cool, okay? Like I like the live tiles in some places. I personally don't ever use it because I run Windows 8, Windows 8.1 on my desktop, which is exactly actually what Microsoft who they left out, right? With Windows 8, it was sort of like, okay, well we're focusing on touch and all this stuff, and it's great when you have a touch screen here and there. But I think a lot of people still use, Windows from a mouse and keyboard, whether it's on a laptop or on a desktop. And like me, so I spend all of my time in desktop view, never in modern UI, unless I have to go in there to find an application or something. So I think this is the right step, but I think there were a lot of arguments yesterday saying, like, all right, well, Microsoft is stepping backwards and going to do things they should have done in a while, and that's a bad sign. But, okay, maybe Windows 8 was a misstep. But I think we'll move forward with Windows 10, which I think is going to be a lot better, at least for PC users who like having all of those options, like the start menu and stuff like that. And they also announced what's called continuity yesterday, which is when you can switch from a desktop mode where you're focused on mouse and keyboard to a touch screen mode, sort of on the fly. And the target with that is these 2-in-1 devices, sort of like you see from companies like HP, Lenovo, Dell. I think they all have them, Toshiba, where it's like a laptop that can fold down and becomes a tablet. So you're going to use touch sometimes, but not all the time, and that's sort of where continuity comes into play.
From Keegan Sutherland,
did
you hear why they named the new Windows 10? Because 789, yes.
Yeah, Ralph made that joke yesterday.
Everyone made that joke yesterday.
Yeah. I should correct myself, too. It's Continuum Continuity is what Apple has.
I'm
sorry.
Yeah, I was like, wait, isn't
continuity? They all sound the same at this point.
I know. Well, at least we're not CBS who
yeah, that was great.
Tweeted out when Microsoft skips Windows 9 goes to iOS 10.
Oh, yeah. Like, what?
Microsoft is going to release iOS
10 for everybody.
Oh, CBS. So, all right, so the preview's out today, and they're saying, what, late 2015 for the full release?
Yeah, I think they were saying, like, after their Build Developer Conference in April, so look for it, in the spring or later next year, maybe summer, I don't know. But yeah, the preview should be out today, the technical preview. I'm a little nervous to install it. My desktop, it's on a Core i3 processor. I'm not sure. It's kind of dying already, so I'm a little afraid to install a technical preview, which might, be buggy. It's not really made for mainstream use, but we'll see.
Right. From Dan Lagis, are there any updates to Windows Phone? Now, they're saying Windows 10 will, they said this with Windows 8 as well, but they're saying Windows 10 will work across all devices.
Yeah, so it's made to be like this unifying platform across tablets, phones, and the desktop. And Microsoft said it yesterday that Windows Phone will be called Windows 10. But I think I want to see what actually happens with that because I think it could be really confusing. I mean, Windows 10 itself has a desktop. It sounds like RT's out the door, which is good because I wasn't a huge fan of Windows RT. Yeah, it's just like, and so then there's like this unifying app store too, where you can go there for all of your apps, so PC and Windows Phone or Windows 10 on the phone. But I feel like that's going to get a little confusing, right? Like I guess they'll have icons that imply this is for that, this is for this, and this was built for both, which they sort of already do in the Windows Phone store. Like they have applications that were designed to run on Windows Phone, and they're complementary in some cases on the desktop, or vice versa.
Yeah, let's see how this plays out. Anytime they're saying that the same operating system will work on every device, I'm just like,
I know. I was telling Roy yesterday, I was really hoping that Microsoft would do something that we saw Ubuntu doing, where like you could like say they sell these devices running on an Atom chip, right? Because they have small tablets now, and I'm sure it could get in the phablet range, running on Intel Atom processors that have a full version of Windows 8.1 on it. And I was like, wouldn't it be cool if they could sell, say, Windows Phone devices with a partition dedicated to Windows or Windows 10, the full desktop environment, so you like plug it into a monitor, get that, and then have Windows Phone on the go. But I don't know if that's going to happen. Doesn't seem like it will.
I don't know. We'll have to see how it plays out, but it's intriguing, that's for sure.
Mm-hmm.
So we're getting a lot of questions. Thank you, everyone, for those. And one that I had wanted to address anyway from Sasha Bahal here. What do you think of Pebble's new permanent price drop? Awesome.
It's great, yeah. And I actually just switched back to the Pebble too. I know you wear it, Sean. They released new software yesterday for monitoring your steps and calories and stuff using like no, it wasn't Fitbit, Misfit, Jawbone, Swim.com, I guess. So I like installed it to try those apps, and then I haven't used them at all because I don't really exercise that frequently. But it's cool, and I'm glad to have the Pebble back. A lot's changed since I put it on my wrist, probably about 4 months ago or so. It seems like 6 months ago.
Well, I am appreciative of the price drop because I probably need to replace this Pebble. The face has a couple decorations put there by one of my puppies.
Nice.
Yeah, that would be Thomas. And the band has seen better days.
Yeah, mine still looks brand new.
Nothing quite like seeing a dog run by. You're like, what's that in his mouth? Oh, that's
that's my Pebble. $100 is a great price. I mean, that's half
It's
the price
awesome.
of your Android Wear devices. I think you can still do a lot more with Pebble than you can with Android Wear. Doesn't look as pretty, that's for sure. But
It doesn't look as pretty, but it gets the job done.
mm-hmm.
And yes, the Pebble is limited, but by far it's been the best smartwatch experience yet.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
Yeah, so $99, I'll recommend a Pebble all day long to folks now.
Mm-hmm.
Now, here's the question, and Sachin Bahal actually tweeted this to me yesterday. Do you go Pebble or do you go Pebble Steel?
Yeah, see, I would go Pebble Steel if I didn't already have a Pebble. I think it's a much nicer looking design, and I mean, this very much looks like the sort of like Kickstarter project that it was. Like, I wish it was a little more refined, which is what the Pebble Steel is. But is the Pebble Steel worth another $100? I'm not so sure. I've never worn one. I know John likes his though. So
yeah, John likes his, but I think I'll just stick with the normal Pebble. And actually, I do have another Pebble coming. I donated to the Reading Rainbow. Right. Yeah, so I'm waiting for my Reading Rainbow Pebble to show up.
When does that ship?
I'm sorry, what?
When does that ship?
I think it's supposed to ship in December.
Oh, okay.
I think so. But lots of news this week, and we're getting a lot of questions here from like Dominique Weber and from Sachin Bahal about the 5.9-inch Nexus.
Mm-hmm.
Do we feel the rumor's real? Probably.
Yeah, I think so. It seems like, I mean, we're coming to the Android L launch, which is sometime in the fall. It's the fall. I wouldn't be surprised to see something this month. I don't know. Google hasn't sent out any invites or really given us any details on when it's going to hit. But I think it's probably soon, and I think it only makes sense, as we've said, to launch it with some new hardware. And I think that we'll see that maybe on a tablet and maybe on a new phone. And if Shamu is real, the Nexus 6, I guess, is what it's going to be called, as we learned yesterday, it looks a little big for me. And I know, like here I am with the iPhone 6 Plus, but I don't know. 5.9-inch screen, right? That's what the rumors are saying?
Yeah.
It's getting big. And I have a 6-inch Lumia 1520 floating around here. And I don't know how much room my pockets have for two of these devices. And I say, like, all right, come on, you can fit these in your jeans pockets. I mean, if you wear regular jeans, right?
Fear the 6.3 mega.
But two of them, right? Like, I don't know, at some point.
Which I just accidentally turned on. Anyway, no, yeah, carry two of them. I have not tried. I have not tried carrying the 6 Plus and the Mega at the same time yet. That would be interesting. Yeah. That's a whole lot of pocket real estate.
And that's what changed for me. That's made this all so very hard switching to an iPhone phablet. Is because I always had like a phablet Android device, and then I would carry the iPhone 5S. And that was like fine because I had one smaller phone and one big phone. And now that I have the 6 Plus, I'm like, okay, I have one big phone, so now I got to go find like a smaller Android phone, I guess. Back to the other Moto X, I don't know. Or the 830, which by the way, we just wrote up the post. The Lumia 830 is shipping this week, and that thing is sweet. I saw it in Berlin early last month, It's sort of like the affordable flagship Windows phone for everybody, kind of like the poor man's 930. And I'm really excited for that device. I just hope it has LTE in the United States if and when it launches here.
Now, from Dominique Weber, since we're talking about the Nexus devices and the release of Android L, are you excited about the Nexus 9? I'm going to miss the 7 if there's not a new 7.
Yeah, I like that 7-inch form factor.
Me too.
But if HTC's building it and they're using metal and stuff, then yeah, I'm super excited. And I'm excited to see what HTC's learned from its efforts in the tablet space. What was that one? It had the Flyer years ago, and that thing wasn't great.
No, it wasn't. But no, I mean, I'm gonna miss the Nexus 7. The 7, I own both iterations, and it was just a great form factor. You know, matter of fact, the second version is sitting over here. But yeah, it's just, I don't know. I think
it's like a book.
Yeah, exactly. I think they should have kept the 7 and done an additional 9. You know, but we've heard no rumors of a new 7, and they may still do it. You know, we don't know anything for sure, but it does look like it's just going to be the 9, and I think that's unfortunate.
Mm-hmm.
But you know, what are you going to do? Let's see. And now here's a really interesting question. I see this come up every so often out there in the blogosphere from Benjamin McDonald. When do you think Google will release Android PC? I'm thinking because they released Android TV after Chromecast, maybe Android PC would be open source and made for desktops.
That's what Chrome OS is, right?
Yeah,
Chrome OS for desktops.
It's getting there, yeah, definitely, because they've now opened it up so that Android apps can be used within Chrome OS, which honestly, I'm a fan of Chrome OS. You know, I know a lot of people are like, oh, well, it just, you know, it can't do that much. But as I drop stuff, because what I'm reaching for is my HP 14
there you go.
Chromebook. And actually, this is one of my 2 HP Chromebook 14s. Because,
there you go.
Yeah, it's awesome. I love the fact that I can just turn it on. I mean, I hit that power button, it's on. It's ready to go. You know, and it also does have a SIM card slot, so I'm using T-Mobile's free 200 megabytes of 4G data a month. It's awesome.
Nice. You can surf the web a little bit.
Yeah, you can surf. You can't do a lot with 200 megabytes, admittedly, but if you're in a pinch, it's going to work.
Right.
But I'm a fan of Chrome OS, and now that they're adding the apps, the Android apps, I think that's a great thing. I'm not sure there is a need for an Android OS at this point for desktops because of Chrome OS. I do.
And you get pretty close with like some of the laptops out there that are running Android and apparently aren't great. And you can add keyboards to it and stuff like that too. I'm not so sure that Android's the right operating system for a PC.
Right. Yeah, I agree. It's. I think Chrome OS is great. I do agree with you what you were saying yesterday, Todd, about when they announced that Photoshop is coming to Chrome OS. I'm like, really?
Yeah. I guess it operates like in the cloud and stuff, but I don't know. I'd have to try it before I make a final judgment. It just doesn't seem like it's going to run amazingly well.
I totally agree with you. Totally agree with you.
Yeah. Hey, breaking news right now if you guys want. It looks like the Windows preview's out. Technical preview.
There you go. Timely as anything.
Bear with me while I send this to someone.
No problem. From Dan Lagos, what do you think Apple will do with Beats? That is a question we have all been asking ourselves since that deal was first rumored. We're not entirely sure. Because we've heard the rumors of the closure of Beats Music. We've heard the rumors that
the branding,
branded.
Right.
Yeah.
I think to me it seems like, I think we talked about this in another episode, but Tim Cook said when he first tried Beats Music, the streaming service, he said he couldn't sleep. It was so exciting. So I have a hard time believing he's just going to kill it. I think more likely he's just not going to call it Beats Music anymore. In regards to the headphones, I don't know. That seems like a good place to keep the brand. People sort of like those Beats headphones, I feel like. I don't know, maybe they'll slap an Apple logo on it too somewhere, but I think in general, they'll probably keep the headphone brand similar and then rebrand Beats Music. That's my guess.
That's kind of the way I've been leaning as well. With iTunes out there, I just can't see them keeping a separate music product. Find some way to integrate them into one another. But it would seem odd for Apple to run 2 separate music products.
Yep, I agree.
Who knows?
I do hope they keep the curated music, though, because I really do like what Beats does with the curated music.
From Sasha and Bahal, another one of the big stories this week. What do you think of eBay splitting off PayPal?
Yeah, that was crazy. So in 2015, they're going to split. They said that they think they can perform better individually. So for investors, they think it's a better way for growth, and that I guess if they're trading individually, you know, like investors aren't just like sort of investing in eBay and hoping that PayPal takes off. They can kind of just like go their separate ways. But then we saw a report today from was it Business Innovation? Our buddy Ian. Jacob, one of our other writers, and I know him, and he said that he actually learned that PayPal was in talks with Apple for Apple Pay, and then when PayPal started talking with Samsung for the Galaxy S5 to use the fingerprint reader on that, Apple got real pissed and like kicked him out, closed the door, and so that's why you don't see PayPal and Apple Pay sort of working together right now. So maybe I wonder if discussions can start anew when it's a separate company, it's not run by the same people. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. It's interesting. I mean, because it was such a big deal when eBay did buy PayPal, and then they integrated it and, you know, basically made it the only way you could pay for anything on eBay. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it seems there has to be some sort of other motivation out there for them to split these two off.
Yeah.
I don't think though that it would be solely based on, oh, well, now we can work with Apple Pay if we do this. That doesn't make a lot of sense to me. So right. I think there were other factors, but that may have been the final factor.
Oh, yeah, no, I'm not saying that they're splitting to work with Apple Pay, but I'm just saying we also learned that might have been a deciding factor. Apparently, it could have started some heat between the executives at eBay and PayPal. Apparently, eBay's CEO sort of dropped it in former PayPal president's lap and said, hey, you're working with Samsung on this, and then Apple kind of walked away. So I'm sure there's, you know, some arguing going on in the ranks, too. And then it also, PayPal said yesterday that it's not going to happen in the near future, but it does sort of make PayPal a takeover target for a larger company that wants to get into the payment space, which will be interesting to watch. But again, I guess not until mid-2015 they're not splitting. So.
Yeah, I don't know. It's going to be interesting to watch what happens. There's something more there, I think, than what we're hearing.
Yeah,
which that so rarely happens in our space. Very interesting question from Sasha Bahal from a smaller story earlier in the week. What do you think of the Com 1 being pulled from its Indiegogo campaign because of Google? The Com 1 was going to be an Android Wear device.
Yeah,
that was really surprising.
Well, what I've heard from people in the industry at other companies that are building Android Wear devices is that Google has had a really hands-on approach to these devices, when they launch, who launches what when, and even though it's very much like, oh, here's this platform, we have to remember that Google did lock it down on the software side. They're not allowing special skins that you get, you know, the custom watch faces that are available. And so this just tells me more that Google's very much trying to control the hardware of these devices too. I think it's unfortunate. I think anybody should try to build these devices. I mean, if you look at Pebble, for example, was a Kickstarter campaign, and look at what they've done. So I'd hate to see these kind of put to sleep early on, but you know, I think it's saying that Google wants to control everything on Android Wear, a lot more than it seems on the surface.
Yeah, I think so too. I don't know. I think you made a very good point in that post about the fact that a lot of Android's success was because it did go out so far and so wide. And with all these other smartwatch options, the ones already on the market and those coming, and I'm not speaking just of the Apple Watch, there's more coming, you would think they would want to get Android Wear out there as much as possible right now.
Mm-hmm.
So, I don't know. It seemed like an odd call to me, but it definitely set a precedent, and you know, obviously Google's going to stay more hands-on with Android Wear.
Yep.
From Dan Lagis, what do you think of the proposed OnePlus 2? I think they need to get all their problems solved with OnePlus 1.
I was going to say, hey, if they can ship it, but let's focus on shipping the OnePlus 1 to everybody first. I think they're supposed to, in October, get rid of the invite system finally and start getting that out the door. That said, OnePlus 1's a great handset, and I'd be excited to see anything else that comes out of it.
It's awesome. I love the OnePlus 1. It's my Android daily driver.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think they need to settle some of the issues they've had with distributing the OnePlus 1 before they even think about jumping into a second model.
Yeah. Unless they have like a second model where they've worked out sort of the kinks and the deals ahead of time, and they're like, okay, we can really mass produce this one. Maybe that's why they're doing it, but I'm not sure. There's not enough news on it yet.
I don't know. Well, we'll have to see where this goes. I'm hoping that there's a lot more to that story than we've heard so far.
Mm-hmm.
Here's a random but fun question from Sean the Man 34. Favorite place you have ever traveled to, and where is somewhere you still want to go?
I went to Bora Bora on my honeymoon. I think that's probably my favorite place. I loved it. I still haven't been to Paris, though. I'd love to go to Paris.
All those times you've been over to Europe and you haven't made it to Paris.
I know. I was saying maybe one of these trips I'll take, a little side trip afterwards for the weekend.
For those that may not be familiar with Todd's travel schedule, it's not like Todd's super rich and he's just jetting over to Europe all the time. We send him over to Spain for Mobile World Congress. We send him to Germany for IFA. So we send him to Europe a lot. So it's just you've been to London. It just surprises me.
I saw the hotel in London.
Yeah, I know. I hate it when that happens. But I would say for me, my favorite place. It's probably a tie between Tokyo and I really liked Edinburgh.
Yeah.
I really liked Edinburgh.
My wife loved Edinburgh too. I haven't been, but she has.
Yeah, it's just an awesome town. I mean, I love Manchester obviously since I go there so often, but no, Edinburgh was really cool, and Tokyo is always going to have a special place in my heart. As for somewhere I'd love to go to Australia, but I just don't want to take that flight.
I guess my favorite city too would be Rome. I loved Rome when I was there. Italy's a cool place.
Yeah, I want to go to Italy really bad someday. Really want to go to Italy. Okay, moving along here. From Dominique Weber, going back to the OnePlus 2 for a moment. Are you happy they are going to shrink the OnePlus 2 down? Have they said how big the screen's going to be on the OnePlus 2?
I don't know. I don't think I saw that. If they have, I didn't see it. But I wouldn't be upset if they shrank it down a little bit, at least because it has kind of some big bezels. They sort of have the option to have hardware keys or software keys. If they got rid of the hardware keys, you should technically have some room.
Yeah, I don't know. I like the screen size on the OnePlus One. I wouldn't be overly thrilled to see it shrink down, but I know I'm one of those weird people that really likes big screens. I like big screens, and I cannot lie. And now Sir Mix-a-Lot will sue me. From Sasha Bahal, what games are you guys looking forward to from now until the end of 2014? Alien Isolation, if it's good. Let me stress that. It has to be good.
For me, it's like Smash Brothers. I still want to play Forza Horizon, which launched yesterday. Sorry, we have a review up, so be sure to read that. And then I've been playing a lot of Destiny. I played a little bit. Well, I should say a little bit. Last night I played on Saturday, I think. And that game's really fun. I didn't realize how much I'd like it. I'm not a big space sci-fi guy, but I really like it.
Yeah. I think just Alien Isolation, because I've been dying for a good Alien game for decades. But I'm working my way through right now on The Last of Us. I just started FIFA. I'm trying to decide if I'm going to do the remastered Grand Theft Auto. I keep going back and forth on that.
See, I probably will. I didn't get to play the first one that much. My Xbox was on its way out, my Xbox 360, so I'm kind of excited to actually play that.
Well, see, I finished it on the 360 though, so I'm like, do I really need to play through it again just for prettier graphics? But speaking of that, from Sean the Man, do you guys game Xbox One or PS4? We're those kinds of guys that you're going to hate because we both have both.
Yeah. And when I bought a Wii U, I got yelled at.
Yeah.
Why do you need this? PS4 I've been playing mostly, though, mainly because of Destiny, and it was funny, like that funny South Park episode where it's like everybody's trying to figure out which system to get because you have to have the one your friends have. My friends finally this weekend decided on the PS4, so that's why I bought Destiny for that. And then in the office, we all have PS4s as well. So I think that's the way I'm leaning, just because it's one of those things where you want to play with your friends.
The thing is, though, if I'm going to get really picky, I'm a much bigger fan of Microsoft's controllers.
Oh yeah, I was gonna say that.
Yeah, I mean, I know the DualShocks. Matter of fact, because I've been playing Disney Infinity here at work for my review.
Nice.
It's the first time I've really used the DualShock 4. I'm just like, I keep wanting to go put my thumb up here for the other thumbstick.
Yeah, it's not as ergonomic for me anyway.
Yeah,
more uncomfortable.
The Microsoft controller just makes a lot more sense to me than having the two thumbsticks down here. But what do we know about comfort and stuff? Yes, definitely want to answer this from Dan Lagis. Are you still running Twitch streams? Yes. The issue we ran into was they were in the process of moving to the new office last Friday, And so actually, if you look at last week's Twitch stream, it was just me occasionally. They are setting up, I believe they were setting up the new television yesterday, and then somebody complained about them drilling during 9 to 5 hours. So they are setting up the television. We will be back to our regular schedule. It's just been a matter of moving to the new office. So we do apologize for that. It was just something that was not avoidable, unfortunately.
Yeah, and now that we're sort of all grabbing these games, there's a bunch of people in the office with Destiny. I think we're going to try to play some more of those, too.
Yeah, I'm trying to... I haven't picked up Destiny yet. I've been playing shooters for so long, though. I mean, I watched Joey when he did his 8 hours of streaming or whatever it was that first day, and Destiny just never grabbed me.
Yeah, I mean, the storyline's terrible. I don't even understand what's going on in the story, nor do I care. But there are aspects I really like that kind of remind me of so many other games. I don't know why, but I feel like parts of it remind me of Fable, parts of it remind me of World of Warcraft, like the MMO experience, even though it's not, like, massive. But you have, like, these bosses, and then parts, I know, it's like what everybody's been saying, remind me of sort of RPGs with the looting and stuff. But I wish the bosses actually dropped, like, a bunch of stuff to collect. It's not really like that.
I'm still playing a lot of Titanfall, except I'm on my 5th time through, and I'm ready to go to my 6th time, except for I have to shoot 5 pilots out of the air. It's called the Gooser Challenge. I've been trying for weeks. You have to shoot them out of the air as they eject out of their Titan. And I've only gotten one, and I've been trying for weeks to finish this freaking challenge. It's driving me insane.
Get one of us to log on and jump out of our cockpit over and over.
That's actually what my father suggested. He's like, can't you get someone to just get on there and just die repeatedly for you?
Yeah.
Oh, Lordy. From Dominique Weber, I'll just take this one real quick. What do you think about the new FIFA? There are quite a lot of goalkeeper glitches. What I think about FIFA 15 is I'm really bad at it. So I was playing it the other day. I was like, wow, I really suck at this game. So I can't give you a really good good answer on that one. From Teron Sorensen, will Windows 10 be free?
You know, I'm not so sure yet. I thought yesterday if it was going to be free, they would have been like, it's free, get everybody excited, like, oh, wow, this is coming. But they didn't say that. I think it'll probably be free for their partners, right? Because isn't Windows free for partners? I think they said recently it brought like 50 new partners on board.
I think so.
But for consumers, I don't know. It'd be great. If it's not free, I hope it's cheap.
Yeah.
It just seems like, come on. I mean, like, I get it. There was a time when you could charge $100 for an operating system. I don't think that's really... I think Apple sort of changed things a little bit. Their updates are free. They should just be free.
I laugh. I know I've told this story before, but I always laugh about this story about when you would buy DOS updates on discs.
Oh, yeah, I've heard about that.
Oh, you've only heard about this. Yeah. So I think it was DOS 6.21 I bought, and then like 4 or 5 weeks later I was in Walmart, and there was DOS 6.22. I was like, are you kidding me? God, I just bought 6.21.
What'd they cost?
I want to say they were like $5
oh, okay.
So or something like that. But yeah, they came on 3.5-inch floppies. And yeah, so you actually used to have to buy your DOS updates on floppies.
That's funny.
Whenever, and so the idea that they went from 6.21 to 6.22, and you had to buy a separate disc each time, and so now I look at it like, here comes OS 10 Yosemite. It's going to be 2.2 gigabytes. You can download that for free.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I'm just like,
hours.
Yeah, I know, especially on that first day.
Yeah.
That first day is always nuts. From Sasha Bahal, going back to smartwatches for a minute, is the Moto 360 worth it?
If you're going to buy an Android Wear watch, it's the one to buy right now.
Yeah.
Is it worth it? No. I don't. I mean, I can't. I don't know. I can't get myself to like wear it. Like, it's a nice watch, and it performs as well as it can, given the software constraints of Android Wear. But to me, it seems a little expensive considering what you can do with it compared to what you can do with a Pebble for a lot cheaper. Now, if looks are your thing and you really care about looks, and I know with watches they are a fashion statement and that's part of the whole game here, well then yeah, the Moto 360 is worth it because it doesn't quite look like a smartwatch. Like, it actually looks like a nice watch. So in that case, yeah. Otherwise, I don't know. I'd stick with Pebble for now, to be honest.
Same here. Same here. I mean, the 360 physically is a great device, but Android Wear's the problem.
Yeah, and like the battery life on Pebble's fantastic. You charge it, a couple days later, you know, you can worry about it again. It's not every night. You don't have to plug it in every night.
Oh yeah, I haven't plugged mine in for a couple days. I'm at 30%.
Yeah, I don't even know what I'm at. But
Yeah,
that's the one I recommend, especially now at $100. And see if you want a smartwatch too, because I think a lot of people might buy it and be like, I don't want this. This is annoying.
yeah, exactly.
Alerts on my wrist, you know.
From Dominique Weber, couldn't join last time, but I have to ask: iPhone 6 Plus or LG G Flex? Oh, Dominique, please.
The Ben joke. Well, I don't know. Again, Android. I would go with whatever operating system you're choosing. I think that's the best answer we can provide these days. But you know, I think the G Flex is probably not the phone. I mean, sure, they're all going to bend, but go with like a G3 instead. I'd say.
Oh, Ben Gate.
It's true though. Jacob was joking yesterday on Twitter. Like I think he was saying, you know, you look at your phone now, your 6 Plus, and you're like, is it bent? Is it bent? And like, it's the same thing. Oh, I'm freaking out. It's not.
Yeah, I know. I mean, I used like when I had my 5S. You know, I would have it in my front pocket, and I'd roll around on the floor with the dogs or whatever. And now I'm like, take the phone out, put it up on a table.
Move that. Which kind of sucks. You have to worry about that, but.
Yeah, exactly.
And I don't even know how much I have to worry. Like I've seen, you know, reports are everywhere, but it does look like it. I mean, we saw on videos. It looks like you could bend it pretty easily if you tried.
Yeah. From Mike Latorius, how is your experience with running Android apps on the BB Passport? I have not touched the Passport, so this.
Yeah, so I have the Passport here, actually working on the review. You know, it hasn't been great, to be honest. I think I was saying this last week too. The Amazon App Store is okay. But some apps, Twitch wasn't working properly for me, so you can't even rely on that. And then when you sideload apps, you have to be super cautious because the sites that are hosting them are sometimes shady. You don't know what kind of APK file you're getting and what it's going to do to your phone. And B, they're also not built for this. So like you have a 1440 by 1440 screen resolution here. Like apps aren't built for that. So some are okay. Netflix seemed to work all right. Others just no. So I wouldn't buy the Passport with the intention like, oh, everything's going to work perfectly and I'm going to get all the updates and the features of Android apps, because you won't. So keep that in mind. And that's the biggest issue with the Passport. I think it's like that app gap.
Yeah. All right. Well, I think that is going to bring this week's episode to a close. As always, we appreciate you joining us, and we also really appreciate if you can head over to iTunes and search for the TechnoBuffalo Show and give us a rating and a review. That really does help us out. You can also find us on Stitcher, which means you can listen to us anytime, anywhere. You can find us on Pocket Cast. You can subscribe via RSS feed. Anywhere podcasts anywhere podcasts are, you can find the TechnoBuffalo Show. Until next time, I'm Sean Ani. I'm the editor-in-chief of TechnoBuffalo. I've been joined by Todd Hazelton, the executive editor of Mobile.
Bye, everybody.
Till next week, we'll see you then. Take it easy, everyone.